President Jacob Zuma is to meet with leaders of China and South Korea today. And the ANC and COSATU will meet today to tackle the issues of labour brokers and Gauteng e-tolls. I'm Richard Brooks. President Jacob Zuma is to meet with leaders of China and South Korea today to discuss escalating security and diplomatic tension between North Korea and its neighbours Japan and South Korea. The meeting comes in the wake of North Korea's announcement that it will launch a missile into orbit next month. The US and its allies believe the launch is a pretext for a missile test. South Korea and Japan have described the announcement as provocative. Tsepo Ekaneng reports.
Although North Korea is not on the official agenda of tomorrow's nuclear security summit, diplomats here have been hard at work, arranging bilateral meetings between world leaders to discuss Pyongyang's decision to launch a long-range rocket into orbit between the 12th and 16th of April. Governments and security experts are worried that the new rocket launch will lead to breakdown of diplomacy and escalate tensions in the Korean peninsula. It's hoped that President Zuma will use his meetings with leaders of both China and South Korea to offer advice on how to persuade North Korea to suspend the planned missile launch.
The ANC and COSATU will meet today to tackle the issues of labour brokers and Gauteng e-tolls, which have seen the allies on a collision course. Tensions flared between the two following a march by thousands of COSATU members protesting government's decision to regulate rather than ban labour brokers and to implement e-tolling despite COSATU's contention that it will worsen the plight of workers and the poor. ANC Secretary General Gwede Mantashe.
If you look into the amendments of the Labour Relations Amendment Bill and the Quality of Employment Amendment Bill, you will notice that those provisions go beyond the narrow issue of labour brokers. It deals with the whole range of vulnerable workers in all categories. Equality of value for equality of pay for equal value of work does address the problem beyond just labour brokers. So we want to understand the essence of the problem.
Teacher union SATU has accused the Department of Education of failing to take to task teachers who sexually exploit learners. At the closing of its policy conference in Kempton Park, the union has resolved to embark on a campaign to expose these teachers, as well as the department's reluctance to deal with them. Secretary General Mogwenya Maluleke.
The department has a right to discipline, whilst an employee has a right to be represented. Nowhere does it say a union has a right to discipline. So we can't discipline the teachers, but the department must be exposed for not willing to exercise that particular right to ensure that our schools are event-free, where there's no sexual relationship between the teacher, where there's no sexual harassment in our schools.
The hearing of the former head of the apartheid government's chemical and biological warfare program, Dr. Wouter Basson, is expected to continue at the Health Professions Council in Pretoria this morning. According to the charge sheet, Basson, previously called Dr. Death by the media, manufactured mandrax and ecstasy for the apartheid government. Sipiwe Mkize reports.
The charges against Basson center around his conduct as a medical doctor when he coordinated and participated in chemical and biological warfare research for the defense force known as Project Coast. He's also charged of taking part in manufacturing various drugs, tear gas and other chemical agents. Some of the tear gases were put in mortars and supplied to rebel leader Jonas Savimbi in Angola. Basson maintains he had acted as a soldier and not a medical doctor, and that his actions had been aimed at creating a defensive capability against chemical and biological warfare.